today the topic is extremely interesting and something that really affects all our lives here in Canada, and
Yeah.
perhaps something that Canada is also known for. I would say
Canada
uh,
is doing a lot of things.
a lot of things, but I think the first impression is, oh my God, it's really cold there.
Oh, yes, it is. It is a
Most of
cool
the
thing.
people, at least from the tropical countries,
Mm-hmm.
this is the general impression
Yep.
as far as I've seen. Tell me something that you have encountered. The kind of first impressions, or when you were coming in here. I'm sure you had some sort of an idea of what Canada weather is going to be like.
So coming from a tropical country, where we see all the four seasons, um, even in Canada, whether it's a very big thing. Uh, and yes, before coming in, I had an idea that yes, Canada is going to be cold. Uh, but if I'm being honest, I was also a bit naive about it. I mean, I knew the Canadian winter is going to be cold. But to what extent? That is something which took me by surprise. My first winter, um, it was my first winter, my first snowfall, so I enjoyed it, if I'm being honest. But it also, it also came with its own perils, if I may say so. So it's a mix of it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag experience, if I say.
Okay, the thing is, just to put it in perspective,
Mm-hmm.
um, Canada winter, and I'm talking about Ontario specific, but it
Yeah,
is more or less it applies to whole of Canada.
sure.
In the winter season sees temperatures ranging from 0 to anything around 20s and minus 30s. But minus
100%.
30 is again, like again to put in a bit of numbers here.
Mm-hmm.
1859, January 10th,
Mm-hmm.
saw perhaps the lowest, which was minus 32.8. And
True.
thereafter, we have seen,
Historically, a bad weather it
yeah,
was.
yeah, but thereafter, Canada has seen, obviously temperatures ranging between minus 22, but that is high, minus 27, minus 25.
Sure.
And with climate change, it is getting hotter. Temperatures are a little higher, on the higher side. In fact, there are so many researchers, so many articles that
Mhm.
are talking about a short winter, and they are saying that there is almost a 15 days reduction in terms of the kind of winter that we see, the months that we see. So 15 days less
But I mean,
of
I
the,
really wish it was shorter. But then again,
yeah,
as we know it from
15
our
days,
experience, it is
mind
getting too
you.
much shorter.
Yeah, mind you, but 15 days is like almost,
It's quite a lot.
it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So but that's not good news, because it's an effect of climate change. So
Absolutely.
that's bad news again. But yes, some respite for 15 days. It is a little less of the severity that we see here.
Yeah.
So tell me what, I got a sense of what you had in mind before coming in here,
Yeah.
but what was it in reality? Like, how was your first winter, and how did you navigate it? Is it very difficult?
Okay. So, like I said, I was naive about it. It was harsh. You know, um, it is something like how should I put it? Yeah. So it is always colder than it seems. So say before you step out, now earlier I didn't have the habit of checking my cell phone to see what's the temperature. But now whenever I'm stepping out, I see the temperature and I see very specifically something known as the what is the feels like temperature. So the temperature says that okay, it might be say -3, but the feels like temperature says that it is -8. So yes, it is -8 when you step out. So and again, you have these factors of humidity, you have the wind chill factor, which adds up to it, and hence the reason you have a -8. So that is something that has become like a second nature to me.
Yeah.
Um, despite the sad thing that okay, the climate change is affecting the winter seasonality. Yet even then the winter feels long. It just keeps going on and on. And the major thing, the reality is that if you really need to, either you get used to it. I mean, um, or you layer up. And the first time when I came here, it was like my uncle was like, you know what, you have this Canada Goose jacket with you. I was like, why are you even giving me this jacket? I mean, this is like, it's heavy. I was like, no. He's like, you will need it. So, and I realized the importance of it the day I stepped out. I just had that jacket, and I had these leather gloves. It is that jacket which saved me, not that gloves. Because believe me, the glove failed big time. I felt my finger digits like, oh my God, do I even have my finger digits?
Mhm.
So that was the first thing. And then another reality which hit me was black ice. So very happily I went like, okay, snow is falling. It is all around the place. And I step outside my apartment and that's it. Whoop, I slipped.
Yeah.
So that was my first brush with black ice, and I fell right on my butt. So that was a bit embarrassing, but yeah. So again, just the first-hand realities of the winters here.
Absolutely. That bit that the habit of checking the weather before stepping out. I think this is a reality for everyone here. And this is something that we're not used to coming from tropical countries. We've never ever checked or bothered even to even know what the weather conditions are like, because the reality is that there we do not see these kind of extremes, um,
Absolutely. I
and
mean,
here,
back in Delhi, like what? Like, I mean, you would hardly get a single-digit temperature.
yeah.
And back in the days when my father was posted in the northern regions of India, places like Ambala, Panipat, Chandigarh. So maybe, I mean, if we are lucky, maybe during the night time, the temperature might drop sometimes, very rarely below zero. But that too, it was like a big time rarity. Um, so I thought like, okay, I've seen the temperature. Canadian temperature will be somewhat similar. I thought I was prepared, but no.
Yeah, so
And
but
like every
here
reality.
but here, as they say, it's not the bad weather, it's just bad clothing.
Oh
uh,
yes, 100%.
they always suggest that you layer up, and that's how you have to navigate this winter.
Oh
uh,
yes.
yeah, but even though we're still in the middle of the winters, I would say, how was your holiday? How was December? How was November?
So,
Yeah.
from buying a new car, just like on the onset of winter
Oh,
to
congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got a Mazda CX-5 SUV,
All right.
and so getting a new car, spending time with friends and family, to indulging into winter sports activity. So far it has been eventful, going out in town. It has been fun so far. I cannot say that it was a dull or a gloomy winter. No way.
Yeah.
By
I-
any measure it
In
is.
fact, I will like you to hold that thought,
Okay.
because I am going to, dive a little deeper here. My
Okay.
next question is that the impression that
Mhm.
most of my friends back home
Okay.
have is that since it is so cold, the
Mhm.
kind of temperatures that they see from there, it is humanly impossible to have any kind of engagement outside, and they cannot understand that it is possible for you to step out even in -10, and but yeah, so like with that kind of mindset, I would say, and rather I would ask you, that does a single guy in town, uh,
Okay.
such weather conditions,
Mhm.
uh, is winter fun, or is it something that kind of stops everything around, and you kind of you're inside that house, that periphery, or there are engagements and there are things to look forward to even in winters?
Okay, so there are a couple of things I'll say beforehand. Um, so one is it is what you make of it. That's the first things first. Um, had it been summer and it was, extremely hot, I mean, say back in our country in India, we see temperatures going, +40, +50, and there's a hot wind loo blowing all over the place. So quite naturally, you would have inclination to stay inside the house, not venture out in the sun in this extreme heat. And the same case is true in extreme winter as well. So, but then again, um, if you have to go, you go. If it is extremely bad weather, it is always advisable that you do not step out. And again, the Canadian weatherman does a great job of issuing these advisories where it is required that, hey, you know what, there's going to be hailstorm, there's going to be a snowstorm, there's going to be a polar vortex. Please don't drive. There's going to be wind condition. So all of these advisories are always in place, and hence it is required that you adhere to it. However, that being said, by no means the Canadian winter is gloomy. And to people who are listening and who thought that you have to sit inside the home, yes, if you feel like sitting inside home, yes, you do. But if you want to step out, there are like plethoras of activity you can do. Like, say for example, um, okay, so this winter, first things first, like let me start with sports activity that I did. I did ice skating. I went to Nathan Phillips Square. I did ice skating over there. Thankfully, I didn't fall while skating, but then yes, while I stopped and I was trying to save my sister, I fell.
Okay.
And I went to do tobogganing. So tobogganing is basically you have a sledge kind of a thing, and you go to the hilltop and you slide on it. So it's essentially a snow slide. It's fun to do, but if you are not careful, then yes, you can get like major injury. Like a friend of mine, she got a major injury. She broke her ankle.
Oh.
Yeah, couple of weeks back. So 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 be careful while you're doing. Then again, you have skiing, you have snowboarding. So so by all means, if you wish to engage in that, you need to have either get properly trained or make yourself knowledgeable on how to do it and have the enthusiasm for it. But moving further from these winter activities, say you can visit Chinatown, the Kensington Market. Very recently, there was a Chinese, lunar year festivities. So it was a very fun-filled affair. So I went there. Or say, for example, one of my favorite places to visit is this food fair near Ryerson University, or now better known as the Toronto Metropolitan University. So I went there. You have this myriads of food stalls, Brazilian, Mexican, even a Bengali jhalmudi is also there. Can you believe that?
Oh, I'm going with it. Oh, thanks
Yeah.
for that info.
I was kind of surprised that okay, it is there. So and then I visited the CN Tower. So I saw the observation deck, and when I visited the observation deck, I had the 360-degree view of the city. And let me tell you, in Rani, it was so beautiful. You know, you can see the Toronto Islands. You can see where the snow, where the ice has formed, the boats, the icebreaker boats going. Um, it was surreal, if I may say so. Then you can also visit the St. Lawrence Market. Okay, and if you are, say, you're a little bit into the artsy thing, so you can go to the Art Gallery of Ontario. I mean, I personally recommend it. If you wish to explore a little bit of a drinking scene, then yeah, your Distillery District is the best place to be so. Last but not the least, one of the favorite place or I enjoyed visiting was the Albion Falls. So I hiked in the Albion Falls. This is in Hamilton, so
Okay.
that was nice. And again, in Hamilton, you will find these like lots of small or small falls, waterfalls. The beautiful thing was these falls, they had frozen, and so you have a deep gorge and you're just passing by it, just enjoying the nature, and yes, before I forget, Niagara Falls, even that froze for a bit. So yeah, all of those things are there. You just have to keep exploring. I mean,
So
just put on
there
your
is
wheels and go
beauty
out.
all
Simple.
around you, you know. You gear up and there is
Ah,
beauty all around you. It's not gloomy at all, that means,
no, no, not at all. Not at all.
The
Absolutely
thing, the picture that you painted is amazing actually. It makes me think that, if this is what, the if you have that mindset to kind of navigate it, then you surely
not.
can, and it can be fun,
Ah,
and your winters can be beautiful, something that you can actually look forward to, instead of dreading it. I think, you embrace it,
yes,
and
100%.
embrace it how, and
This
yeah.
one more thing I'll add out here. Okay. So, say for example, you're totally new to the city. Okay. At least when I came, that was during pandemic, things were in a lockdown. But if now you are coming, say in 2023, in this winter, and by the way, the worst of the winter is yet to come. So if you're new in the city and if you don't know, then by all means, go to a website called the meetup.com, and they would have these they would list out these events. So it can range from karaoke events if you're into singing, um, if you are into running. So there's a group which runs, by the way, in
Okay.
winter.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fun.
across the city it happens.
Oh.
Across the city it happens, yeah. So if you are in, and this is a like a overnight event, like you probably start at like what, maybe 11ish. You run, you stop, you exercise. Again, you run, you stop, exercise. It keeps on going and it goes on all the way till I think 5, 6ish in the morning. Yeah. So depending on your interest, or if you plain and simple, you just want to network with people, you will have these sort of different events being hosted across, and they would be listed on, say, um, Facebook events page, or the like I said, the meetup.com. So by all means, go out and explore your interest. That is something I would encourage.
That is great info, Sitangshu, as always. It was a pleasure talking to you. And, within this time frame, you gave us so much information that not only will this help people navigate winters, and it will also make you, I think, embrace it, and have plans ahead of time.
I mean, it is not only, it is just,
Enjoy
it
it.
is something like you need to, it is just like understanding the difference,
Yeah,
how the weather is, and understanding what is your thermal perception, if I may say so, and just adjusting according to it. And
absolutely,
thus
absolutely.
everything will fall into its own place comfortably.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this conversation.
No
Thank you.
worries. Thank you. Thank you so much for hosting me. And it was, as usual, lovely talking to you.